You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. Let's go beyond the box score on this Monday with Jackie Ray, who joins me in studio. Jackie Ray, it's good to see you. What's going on?
It's good to be here.
You know, as I do, this was a big season for the WNBA with the addition of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, among others, but specifically people were focused on those two rookies joining the league, what it might do for the prospects of the league. Well, news has come out that the WNBA is set to lose about $40 million despite the historic aspect of this season. I think I know why that is, but did it surprise you?
It didn't. The WNBA hasn't made a profit since its inception, so it's going to be years, literally years. Even once they start operating in the black, it's still going to be a while before they turn a profit because they have been in the red for so long. But the good news, and I know a lot of people who just see that number, you go, oh my God. The good news is they were projected to be $50 million in the red, and it's only 40. So that just is a testament to, you know, the things that are coming at this, what is like a $2.4 billion TV deal that's going to last over several years. That's coming. And, you know, the game is just getting better. Just like with the men's league, you know, the men's league for a while, the game, when you look at Jordan's time to now, the game is different. I think it's progressed in a lot of ways. It's declined in others, but that's just how it grows. So it's growing. I think it's mimicking the NBA a little bit. I think my disappointment is the NBA knew some of the downfalls that it experienced, some of the reasons why it took so long to take off. And so since you know that, and since you were the catalyst to even launch the WNBA, I would have really hoped that they circumvented some of those problems and gave the W a bigger boost much, much sooner. But it just didn't happen that way. And the W has had to be kind of on its own for a while. But I'm excited about this season. This is hands down one of the best finals series I have seen as far as the WNBA or actually any basketball at all. So it's very exciting.
Since you mentioned the finals, which just concluded, the New York Liberty won its first WNBA championship, but not without controversy. The Minnesota Lynx coach basically was saying that the officiating was siding with the New York Liberty, and that's why they won. Just paraphrasing, what did you make of that controversy?
So, first of all, Cheryl Reeve is my favorite coach in the WNBA. So I tend to lean. If she said it, I'm a rock with it. This is not one of those times because the truth is the officiating has been garbage the whole entire season. It's just been really, really bad officiating. If you watch the finals, there were some calls that were made that shouldn't have been, and there were some overturns that didn't happen. So I don't think the officiating was the best. However, you can't go into overtime and not score a single basket and then blame it on the officiating. That's just not how that works for me. So I hear what she's saying. There was definitely some questionable no calls, but like my coach used to always tell me, if it comes down to whether an official does or does not make a call for you winning the game, then you had already lost the game much earlier. So that's not how that works.
I say this as a basketball fan. I say this as someone who has watched the growth of the WNBA after it used to be the WNBA and the ABL. That's how far back I personally go. I personally have been very excited with what I've seen. And I know Rome, as they say, was not built in a day. This was the first step of many which are going to be taken, which have to be taken for the league to grow. I knew that the TV deals in earnest weren't going to kick in until 2026. These growing pains, they may still be going on, but they're not forever. And since they have some real, when I say talent that's being recognized, talent that's being seen, you have more fans coming to the game. And that's what I think people misunderstood. Just because you have more fans coming to the game, it doesn't make the game more solvent. The game makes money through the merchandising. The game makes money through the television deals. And as those things continue to pick up, and they are picking up, we'll see more growth of the WNBA. My question to you, bigger picture, are we just at the beginning? Because when you have folks like Juju coming into the league.
Juju, let me tell you.
And
Paige Beckers, which fingers crossed the LA Sparks will get. But I think we're in a different time because now it's more social media driven. when you have young players like this who are already on social media, when you elevate, I've been saying this for years and it just seems like people are catching on. I'm going to say they're finally listening to me, but maybe that's not the case. But when you elevate the person and elevate their specific brand, you automatically elevate the league and the specific team that they're on. Because if you are a fan of Caitlin Clark, now you care about the Indiana Fever. It's been a long time since anybody cared about the Indiana Fever, even though they had
no. It's never been any time in which people cared about the Indiana Fever. It's not a long time.
I'm trying to be nice.
Don't lie to me. Okay, we know. Nobody ever cared about that franchise.
Ever. Even with Aaliyah Boston, they had the number 1 draft pick 2 years ago. Nobody cared. It was so easy. And I can tell you as a person who covers the WNBA, when you get star power like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, usually you get a scrum. That's how when a scrum means is it's a bunch of reporters interviewing one player at a time. That's what you get when you get these star power rookies or these big name players. Aaliyah Boston, make a call. You getting a one-on-one with her because nobody cared about the Indiana Fever. So, but when you elevate the little bit of attention they did get was because of Aaliyah Boston, and all the attention that they're getting now is because of Caitlin Clark. So you do have to really capitalize on the young people coming in and their understanding of social media and being a presence in the social media world that's going to bring in these new fans. You definitely have to capitalize on that. So I do feel like we're moving in the right direction. It's just going to be interesting to see, do they make it hard? Because covering USC before was, as an independent journalist, no problem. I got an email the day before yesterday says, hey, we know you're independent. We really need you to be with a big name outlet to cover this season. So there's ebbs and flows, because I think one of the things you're doing in that is really dismissing journalists. And I'm my own brand, so I know the importance of building your own brand. That's an audience that you're going to miss out just because I'm not affiliated.
Let me just jump in there. Yes, you are, because you're affiliated with iHeartRadio, which happens to be the biggest audio content provider in the world. Just want to put that out there.
Yes, but they say because I'm representing Jackie Ray TV.
Oh.
So what I should just send an email from my personal, because I told them, I said I work for iHeartRadio. They go, we know, but
it's a game that we all have to play in this business.
Yes. But that just shows you the growth, because that's a bouginess. You don't do that when no one's really watching.
That's right. And
now that everyone's watching, now you just get your little bougie on.
Let me ask you this before we go to break. There has been discussion about whether the WNBA needs to lengthen its season to help create more revenue opportunities for franchises. And of course, more games, more people, more merchandise, more television rights, more money for those television rights. Is that something that they should do, or is it premature, given that you may possibly grow too fast too soon and not be able to accommodate it?
I'm going to say it's premature. I'm going to base that answer entirely off of my experience covering the LA Sparks. It's a cost attached to that. So when you lengthen the season, you have to open those arenas. You have to have employees there to work the arenas. You have to have the lights on. There's a cost attached to that. So if you're not close to being solvent yet, I don't know. They have made an announcement that they're going to extend the finals next season to 7 games. I'm fine with that, because that's 2 teams. Everyone can be hyper focused on that. But the season as a whole, we just extended it from 36 to 40 games. Yep. I think it needs to sit there for a while, because again, there's cost to extending that season. And I think be a little bit more solvent before you go into that.
When we come back, let's stay in the basketball lane. Bronny James, very, very controversial, if you will, pick by the Los Angeles Lakers. The season is getting ready to start. Magic Johnson, I would say Mr. Laker, originally came out and said that Bronny wasn't ready. He needs at least a year in the G League. Now he's changed his tune. I wonder if there were not outside pressures on him to change his mind. We'll talk about that next. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Here with Jackie Ray Still as we go beyond the box score. And for whatever reasons, Magic Johnson, who we talked about with his first thoughts of Bronny James, the son of LeBron James, has made an about face. He originally said that Bronny, paraphrasing, was not ready. He needed another year. He needed more growth. He needed more time before he could fill out an NBA roster. Again, paraphrasing. Now, Magic Johnson has changed his tune and said that Bronny's going to be a good player in the NBA. To what What happened?
I don't know. This one is rough for me because this is like you're singing rock music and all of a sudden you go to hip hop with no training. There's nothing to back up this statement for me because we haven't seen enough. Preseason, sure, he got, I believe, 14 points in his last preseason game.
No one would be singing the praises of that.
No one. Because the thing is yeah, it's preseason. No one takes preseason seriously. It's equivalent to a bunch of all-star games where people are just kind of having fun at getting their basketball legs, if you will, back under them. But it's nothing to take seriously. I have echoed the same sentiments. You have echoed the same sentiments. Everybody who's ever watched basketball has echoed the same sentiments. While his last name is James, and yes, LeBron is one of the greatest of all time, that does not... Michael Jordan has proven to us that just because you're the greatest of all time does not mean that it's going to translate to your offspring. He has proven that to us. We know this. We've seen it before. We're lucky that Bryce is good. We're lucky that Bronny is decent. But to say that he is ready to be a starter, and then he doubled down on it. That's what made me upset. He was like, look at what we've done with Alex Caruso. Bronny's going to be a starter just the same way, the way that the Lakers train people up. I'm like, did you just compare Bronny to Alex Caruso?
And Austin Reeves.
I was not prepared for that.
Let me tell everyone exactly what Magic Johnson said most recently. He said, quote, Laker Nation, I have to tell you, Bronny James is going to be a really good basketball player. Last night, he showed he has a few things you simply can't teach. High basketball IQ, athleticism, and a competitive spirit that makes him a tenacious defender. I believe after a lot of hard work this season, he'll definitely be in the Lakers rotation and playing heavy minutes, close quote. That may or may not be true, but what I've seen on the court is not consistent with a regular rotation basketball player in the NBA. His defense, I would say, is above average. His shooting and be able to, his ability to create his own shot is below average. Right. I think because he's undersized and it's preseason. They're going to be coming for him during the season. And when he's in those high leverage situations where he's expected to perform and demanded to perform, it's going to be a very different situation, and I'm not wishing him to fail. I'm just using my 50 years of basketball watching as a reference point. Rookies usually don't do well unless they are exceptional. Kobe Bryant included.
Right. And he's not even at the level, clearly not at the level Kobe was, not even close to the level his dad was, and his dad came straight out of high school. So it is really... putting this level of expectation on this kid who had a major life event is problematic. And it's, dare I say, dangerous, because now he's going to try to live up to these standards, perhaps push himself to limits that he's probably shouldn't physically go to right now. But he's not ready at all. And I think it could impact his ability to get mentally ready. When you start adding these pressures on him and say, you know what, by the end of this season, you're going to be starting. No, by the end of this season, you should be saying, I had an amazing time in the G League. I think I'm this much closer to being amazing on a roster. But don't put the cart before the horse. This is a bad idea.
People don't know the Laker history. Their Lakers first round pick last season didn't even get first round. Jalen Hood-Schifino did not even get out of the G League. Okay. Nope. Just as a reference point, just because you're drafted doesn't mean that you make the team. It means you won't get cut. You'll stay in the organization. I don't want to get in all that. But if you're a second round pick, rarely do those picks make the team. Rarely. It's a tradable asset. That's about it.
Right. We drafted you because we think maybe we can use you to elevate us in other ways later. Right.
Down the road. We think that you have potential. We can develop you. Not you could be playing serious minutes as a rookie. It doesn't happen. But we'll see. They're welcome to prove me wrong. But before we get out of here, Jackie Ray, what are you working on?
So I am excited about this week's podcast. I got a call from the mayor of Long Beach who was upset about a take. And it just made my whole day when the mayor decided to call me and say, I ain't like your take.
But was it wrong? You don't have to like it.
Right. So he and I argued about that for a bit. He has emailed me over some things which I am going to review about Measure JB here in Long Beach, which I have been on the record and say I would not vote yes for. I am going to review everything he sent me. It's a plethora of documentation, but I'm going to represent to you guys on Tuesday right here on the iHeartRadio podcast app, wherever you're streaming your podcast, you can listen to that and see if I will do a Magic Johnson and all of a sudden change my mind.
From what I know about you, you're pretty thorough in your preparation and your research.
Right.
I'm thinking no.
That's what I'm thinking. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see.
But there's nothing wrong with being open to more information. I am a big proponent of new information. Look, I thought one way about this, but then I received more information or new information, and it's either enhanced my opinion or changed my opinion. Mm-hmm. But I'm open to it. That is a lesson for the masses. You need to be able to. Growth comes from learning new things and changing your perspective. That's how we grow as human beings. You do not have to be rigid in your thought process. That is the lesson. That's why we love you. And we'll see you next week, Jackie Ray.
See you next week.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Gentlemen, it's come to my attention that a breakaway Russian republic, Krepelakistan, is about to transfer a nuclear warhead to the United Nations in a few days. Here's the plan. We get the warhead and we hold the world ransom for $1 million.
Well, don't you think we should maybe ask for more than $1 million? $1 million isn't exactly a lot of money these days. Virtucon alone makes over $9 billion a year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. Okay, then. We hold the world ransom for $100 billion.
KFI Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Is Elon Musk the real life version of Dr. Evil? To some, he is. To his supporters and Trump supporters, he is not. But here's the $1 million tie-in. Elon Musk is pledging to give away $1 million a day to voters for signing his political action committee's petition backing the Constitution. But this is where it gets complicated. It is illegal to pay someone for their votes, and it's illegal to pay someone to register to vote. But in this is the gray area where the incentive is to sign a petition, but to sign the petition and be eligible for the $1 million, you have to be already a registered voter.
Elon Musk says every day he'll give one lucky registered voter $1 million if they sign a petition from his pro-Trump political action committee. It's just the latest way the world's richest man is boosting the former president. But whether the contest is legal and what Musk's endgame is are both unanswered questions. CBS's Jolene Kent reports.
It's the Elon Musk show on the Trump Trail in must-win Pennsylvania.
Tonight's person is John Dreyer.
The world's richest man is handing out $1 million checks to swing state voters, sweepstakes style, once a day till Election Day.
And all you have to do is sign a petition in support of the Constitution.
He's also poured $75 million into his own PAC to get Trump voters to the polls.
What he really wants to do is get people who he thinks are going to vote for Trump, but aren't registered to register to vote.
Federal election law says it's a crime to pay anyone to register to vote or simply vote.
Is Elon Musk acting illegally?
The actions that we're seeing violates federal law pretty clearly, actually. I don't think it's a particularly close call.
Musk is dangling incentives to voters after he was promised a prominent role in a second Trump White House.
I will create a government efficiency commission. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
His companies SpaceX and Tesla have benefited from billions in federal government grants and contracts.
And I'm very concerned about a country where people like Elon Musk, others that are sucking up to Donald Trump, that will undoubtedly be.
What did he say? What was that? The Governor Newsom said?
That will undoubtedly be.
Undoubtedly, That's not a word. There's undoubtedly, but not undoubtably.
That will undoubtedly be carved out of regulations, undoubtedly get...
He did it again. He did it twice in one sentence. Irregardless, that's not a word. Okay? Irregardless of what the governor said, undoubtedly is not a word. It's like supposedly. No, it's supposedly, undoubtedly, not supposedly or undoubtedly. I am so disappointed in this governor. How can you not know that?
Donald Trump, that will undoubtedly be carved out of regulations, undoubtedly get massive, even larger.
He did it for emphasis, or emphasis, as they say.
They get massive, even larger federal contracts. I mean, it is an American oligarchy.
Musk also uses X, formerly Twitter, which he owns, to promote Trump to his 200 million plus followers.
Now, listen to this part. This is really important about the impact of what Musk has been doing, whether you like him or not.
According to a CBS News investigation, Musk has used X to amass 3.3 billion views on posts about election security so far this year. Nearly 60% amplified false or misleading information.
Did you hear that?
Nearly 60% amplified false or misleading information, including unsubstantiated conspiracies.
A third $1 million check was just given away in Pennsylvania tonight. And when we reached out to Musk and his PAC about whether this violates federal election law, a source directly familiar tells us it's confident in the legality of this initiative.
As a practical matter, it really doesn't matter whether it is or is not legal for this reason. Not whether you care whether it's illegal. As a practical matter, unless there is an immediate injunction, it's not going to stop what he is doing. And any lawsuit after the fact is not going to undo any votes or registrations which may be connected to this. On the flip side, as a practical matter, the people who are signing this petition and who are already registered voters, it's fair to assume that they're already Trump voters. And if they're not Trump voters and they just are in it for the money, well, you paid someone $1 million for someone who's not going to vote for Donald Trump. So as a practical matter, I don't know if it changes the landscape in Pennsylvania, but even if it is deemed illegal and even if there is an injunction filed and put in place, we are now, 15 days away from the election? It's probably not going to make much of a difference. But here is the most important point. We are now in this slippery slope, this very gray area where money is going to, in the next instance, probably move even closer to that line or go further on the other side of the line where they're just outright just buying votes, paying for votes, or paying for voter registrations. This is pretty much that. But since it's done so late in October and no one had dared to do it before, it's not going to make any difference in the sense of no one's probably going to step in to stop it. But the other side of that is it really changing any votes? Is it encouraging anyone to vote who was not going to vote? Because both sides are trying to make sure that they can close that enthusiasm gap and get out their voters. Turnout is going to be key. But in a state like Pennsylvania, the Democrats still have an advantage when it comes to enthusiasm. But this is again a result of that Citizens United horrible Supreme Court decision. If you're worried about the power of a few people dictating what happens in this country or as far as foreign policy, look to moments like that Supreme Court decision, which said that there's no such thing as too much money in our politics. And there are people like Elon Musk trying to buy an election all by himself. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We have your horoscope when we come back, and it has all to do with pasta.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI Mo Kelly live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And here is your horoscope for this week. And it has to do with a pasta dish, which aligns with your zodiac sign. I'm not Italian. I'm not of Italian descent. I am going to unintentionally mispronounce some of these dishes, probably horribly. I'm letting you know in advance, it's not intentional. Robin, are you by chance of any Italian descent?
No.
Okay, so you can't help me.
Nope.
Tawala, Tanzanian, he can't help me. Mark Ronner, any Italian blood?
No, but I grew up in a city that was nothing but Italian Catholics, and I was like the Tom Hagen figure in everybody's family, so I might have your back.
Okay. No guarantees because you've never had my back in your life. So I'm not sure if I can depend on anyone to help me through these pronunciations. Again, it's unintentional, but I'm self-aware, and I'm going to mispronounce some of these dishes. Charge it to my head, not my heart. Aries, the pasta dish which aligns with your zodiac sign is spaghetti pomodoro. Aries is not a sign renowned for subtlety, and pomodoro, bluntly and beautifully, translates to tomato in Italian. Did not know that. Making up for nuance with absolute delightfulness, the dish sings with simplicity and comes together fast and easy, exactly how Aries likes their meals, sexual encounters, and criminal getaways. Taurus, pasta pesto. Oh, man, I wanted that one. Love pesto. Pesto is traditionally made with the crushed leaves of the basil plant, an herb aligned with the traits and tendencies of Taurus. Taurus, whose power color is green and underbelly is greed, rules the second house of values and possessions, and basil has long been associated with wealth and worth. It's said that carrying basil in your pocket will draw riches, having it in your place of business will attract customers, and putting a sprig in the hand of your beloved will indicate, by withering or not, whether they are virtuous or promiscuous, a helpful trick for the jealous bull. Gemini, that's you, Mark, right?
I predict angel hair.
Casio e Pepe, Cacio e Pepe.
Yep.
Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, named for the god of commerce and communication, trade and tricks, and the patron of shepherds, thieves, and travelers. Fittingly, and according to legend being Gemini's love language, Casio e Pepe, was born from the necessities of nomadic shepherds who spent the late spring and early summer, of course, Gemini season, grazing their flocks in the Apennine Mountains. For sustenance, they needed something cheap, lightweight, and resistant to rot, a holy trinity of Gemini preference, of course, and packed dried pasta and pepper for the journey. Cancer? Oh, hell. Okay. Linguine allo scoglio?
Scoglio, yep. Yes.
Frutti di mare.
Mm-hmm.
Abbondanza. While the official noodle of Cancer would be the ravioli on account of this ilk, keeping their feelings inside and spirited away under a comfortable layer of mistrust, the pasta dish that speaks most fluently to cardinal water is linguine allo scoglio. The name translates to spaghetti of the rock, and the recipe, which fluctuates in accordance with the tide, seasons, and temperament of the cook, is as ever-changing as the moon and many moods that rule the people of the crab.
Nice.
Leo. Oh, I can pronounce this one. Fettuccine Alfredo. Leo is ruled by the sun, lords over the human heart, and shines as the zodiac's most unrepentant romantic showman and self-ordained regent. Leo is also the sign of the eternal child. And in 1908, in the eternal city of Rome, Chef Alfredo di Lelio's wife Ines gave birth to a son. According to Luca Cesare's The Discovery of Pasta, A History in 10 Dishes, Ines was severely weakened from the delivery. A distressed Alfredo took to the kitchen to prepare her something nourishing and easy to digest. Like a true carb king, he made fettuccine noodles, tossed them in emulsified butter and parmesan, and said a prayer to the patron saint of new mothers. Ines loved the dish so much that they put it on the menu of the Olive Garden. Trattoria. Virgo, macaroni and cheese.
Easy.
That's an Italian dish?
It's pasta.
Okay, I guess.
It's pasta. It's not Italian dishes.
Oh, I think of pasta. Never mind. Virgo is the sign of the resourceful recluse, and macaroni and cheese is the dish of choice of Home Alone's hermit hero, Kevin McAllister, played by, in real life Virgo, Macaulay Culkin. But who but a clever, mutable earth priest would wish for their family to disappear so they can enjoy the holidays in peace? watch R-rated movies, drink their milk from a wine glass, and eat their pasta in blessed solitude. Libra, spaghetti and meatballs. Ruled by Venus, planet of love, aesthetics, and attraction, Libra is a sign of partnership and popularity. And Disney's Lady and the Tramp provides the most iconic pasta scene in all of cinema history. As Belle Notte plays Tramp and Lady, two sides of the same Libra archetype, rakish flirt and coquettish aristocrat, strike a balance and share an accidental kiss over a bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. Did you know the scene was almost cut by Walt Disney, who thought the idea of dogs eating was more ridiculous than romantic, but love won out in the end, and the spaghetti kiss remains a cultural cornerstone. Scorpio.
Let's go.
Pasta alla Norma.
What?
Pasta alla Norma is a traditional Sicilian pasta, sauteed eggplant, crushed tomatoes, and fresh ricotta. Regarding the corporeal form, mortal coil, Scorpio rules the genitalia.
Wait a second.
I'm just reading Scorpio.
Yes, you heard right.
Rules the genitalia. I didn't know that there was a ruler. No pun intended.
That's what she said.
And as any millennial will tell you, the eggplant emoji is a digital stand-in for, I can't say that on the air, but you can figure out the rest.
Stand-in.
Yes.
That's what she said.
It's a visual representation of an organ. Add to the sauce that the Italian composer Vincenzo Bellini, who wrote the opera Norma, from which the dish takes its name, was a card-carrying Scorpio. Sagittarius, that's me. Lasagna.
Why can't I get lasagna? I love lasagna.
I wanted pesto, but you know. Zazu Dining in Brisbane, Australia has gone viral for charging $48 for a crab lasagna. Sounds good, actually. Topped with caviar. Ooh, does not sound good. Don't like caviar. Had it? Nasty. Zazu Dining, Sagittarius, is the sign of expansion, abundance at best, and excess and empirical tyranny at worst. Apropos of this, lasagna is a consequence of conquest. Originally developed by the Greeks, did you know that? The marauding Romans took the dish home with them along with an entire aesthetic tradition, a pantheon of gods, and a governing philosophy. In the century since, lasagna has been adapted and adopted while maintaining a richness in taste and reputation. Recent evidence includes this viral $50 caviar lasagna. It just not tastes, doesn't sound appetizing. Caviar anything. Have you ever had caviar, Tawala?
Once. Did not like it at all.
They had it all over parties in the music industry. That was supposed to be a symbol of largesse and excess.
I spit it into my napkin.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. It was bad. Mark, have you had caviar?
I like it, but I can't afford it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good. I'd try that lasagna.
What did you have it with?
But I would try it on an evening when you're picking up the tab.
Yeah, it won't be happening.
That's ridiculously expensive.
You're not gonna be ordering that on a Friday.
I do want to see you and Tawala recreate that Lady in the Tramp scene though with a piece of spaghetti. That would be heartwarming. Please proceed.
Capricorn. Spaghetti alla puttanesca.
Oh yeah, that's dirty. You know what that means?
No, I don't.
I'm not going to say it on the air.
Capricorn is the sign of industry, the sacred grind, the punishing work ethic, and the mighty dollar. Puttanesca, which translates to in the style of sex workers.
There we go. Kind of downplaying it, but you get the idea.
That's the sanitized version of it?
Yes.
Okay. It's a quick and easy dish of spaghetti with tomatoes, black olives. Oh, hell no. There we go. Black olives.
Oh, no.
Capers, anchovies, onions, garlic, and herbs. That sounds like a horrible kiss waiting to happen.
Yeah, the prostitute part doesn't bother you so much as the black olives part.
What's your point?
I think I just made it.
Why would prostitutes bother me?
You want to keep going or you want to dwell on this?
In the spirit of the enterprising sea goat, legend holds that Neapolitan sex workers, they have ice cream sex workers.
No, that's just the different flavors of sex work.
Oh, okay. Would draw men to their doors like the sirens of yore with the pungent scent of this pasta and or prepare it between clients to maximize earning potential. Seemed like it would be a turn off, not a turn on.
Yeah, you don't want pungent and sex worker. No, not pungent sex worker.
Is that the dish or is it?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
The dish. Thank you very much. Aquarius, pasta carbonara. Carbonara? Carbonara.
Carbonara
is typically made with eggs, cured pork, parmesan, and cracked black pepper. Aquarius is ruled by 2 planets, staunch traditionalist Saturn and burn it down, build it back better Uranus.
The planet.
Of course.
It's always the planet. It's never referring to anything else. Never has the energy of these 2 luminaries found more acute culinary expression than in the Carbonara Gate. It all began when a French website's recipe for a 1-pot carbonara using blasphemous bow-tie pasta went viral. The video sparked international debate among Italian food writers, chefs, home cooks, and pasta makers who were outraged by the break in orthodox preparation and the breakdown of general decency. Further fueling the fire was a New York Times recipe that called for tomatoes to be added to carbonara, which some likened to declaring war on Italy. And last is Pisces, breakfast spaghetti. Yeah, whatever. In the Christmas classic Elf, effervescent Buddy is the quintessential Pisces, living and loving out loud with an endearing and unhinged sense of whimsy. His spirit and that of all fish folk is made manifest in this breakfast calamity of noodles covered in maple syrup. Oh gosh. Cereal, Pop-Tarts, hope, marshmallows, cheer, candy, and inextinguishable enthusiasm. And that is your pasta horoscope for this week. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
If you missed it, we got it.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.